happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. You guys can probably already tell it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely gonna want to see this one, as we got that Democratic judge that threatened Donald Trump with jail time now facing a major backfire after he was caught doing the unthinkable in this newest leaked video footage. Y'all, I'm excited to get in this one, so we're not straight into it. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Before we even get into it, you guys hit that like button, also hit that subscribe button for your boy. And without further ado, let's get straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
By X, the caption writes, "Lawfare. The Obama-appointed judge that threatened the Trump administration with arrest if funding was not restored to U.S. aid previously likened Trump's first term to the Civil War, and Jim Crow and compared Trump to a tyrant in 2021 video footage uncovered by Natalie G. Winters. Judge McConnell is an activist who has no business sitting in judgment of the president or his administration. Take a look."
What's happened over the last 4 years or so, and at other times in our country's history, going back to, the Civil War and Reconstruction and during the last 4 years, is that the values that we live by, the constitutional values that form the basis of our country, have been tested. And our institutions have been tested in ways that I don't think a lot of folks thought would survive. It got tested in the 1800s by a war, and we survived the war, sometimes well and sometimes not so well, but that's for another story. So what we saw the last 4 years, in my mind, was a new testing of it. And how I think about it is, it's like a balloon, and you're blowing up a balloon and you keep pushing that air in. Well, at some point, the balloon's going to pop. And it feels like over the last 4 years, with the challenges that have occurred to the rule of law in this country, that we came very close to that balloon popping, where courts stand and enforce the rule of law, that is against arbitrary and capricious actions by what could be a tyrant or could be whatnot. We saw plenty of examples of that recently. It enforces our values. Our values, in a legal sense, are the Constitution. And we saw, and there are plenty of examples over history, and there's plenty of examples over the last 4 years through government actions. When you're sentencing someone, when we talk about sentencing, that you have to take a moment and realize that this, middle-class, white, male, privileged person needs to understand the
Middle-class, white, privileged person. I'm trying to figure it out what that means. I mean, that right there, I'm trying to figure it out, all of it, because how is this guy, you're going to tell me that guy that compared Donald Trump's first term to the Civil War or Jim Crow era, how is he going to be impartial in any case? And furthermore, how is he going to get in the way of Donald Trump's executive powers? That is not what this guy was, put in place for. These judges need to stand down and step out of the way. Oh my goodness, this is egregious, though. He needs to, go ahead and recuse himself.
That this, middle-class, white, male, privileged person needs to understand the human being that comes before us, that maybe a woman, and maybe black, maybe transgender, maybe poor, maybe rich, maybe whatever, may have experiences that aren't yours. And you have to walk in their shoes and understand that the law applies to them where they are. And then you have to apply the law accordingly.
I mean, come on, what kind of joke, what kind of absurdity is this? I mean, just based on his own words there, it's pretty obvious that this judge should have recused himself from this case, and he knows that. He also probably knows that what he's doing is unconstitutional. He knows that executive authority is not his to block, but clearly he doesn't care, because he's not a real judge. He's a Democrat activist who's participating in the resistance against the authoritarian Trump regime. In other words, he's living in frickin' Democrat delusion. And so clearly, once again, we're in one of those situations where the left, along with their propaganda shill actors in the mainstream media, were right, but for the wrong reasons once again. I guess.
Man, this is so tiring. Yet another activist judge coming after this guy, Donald Trump. I mean, when will they learn? When will they wisen up that this is not the play? I think it's really going to take for him to slam down on one of these rogue agents, bad actors in the worst way, for them to learn that this is not what you should be doing, especially to a sitting president. I mean, you're playing with fire at this point.
Yes, we are in a constitutional crisis, just not for the reason that Democrats are suggesting. No, quite the opposite. This judge and these activist judges that are attempting to block and sabotage Donald Trump in their resistance efforts, they are the face of the real constitutional crisis. CNN's Scott Jennings actually nailed it in this clip.
Well, I think there's a difference between saying whether you're complying with the law and then you have these individual district court judges setting effectively broad federal policy that is specifically reserved for the president of the United States. I think we do have a constitutional crisis, and it's being caused by these judges. They're not here to tell us. They're not here to tell us how to spend the money. They're not here to set broad federal policy. That is the president's job as elected by the people. These judges are supposed to be settling discrete, specific matters, not policy setting. I think Vance is right. I think Trump has a point, and these judges want nothing more to continue the lawfare against Trump.
He's absolutely right. Just as we covered in a previous video, these judges do not have the power to wield executive authority. It's so blatantly obvious what's going on here. Simply what's happening is the bureaucratic regime are reacting like white blood cells in their effort to protect the corrupt Washington body. I don't see the justification for these actions. And it's not just the legal justification, it's also the moral and ethical justification. They've built this premise, everything that they're doing, it's all built on a mountain of lies. They've tried to create this framing as if what Elon Musk is doing is just so wholly unacceptable and unconstitutional, but it's not. It's common sense and it's the right thing to do. And facing all the attacks, Elon Musk was actually summoned to the White House, to the Oval Office, to basically give the American people the rundown on what he's doing.
At a high level, if you say, what is the goal of Doge and I think a significant part of the presidency is to restore democracy. This may seem like, well, aren't we in a democracy? Well, if you don't have a feedback loop, if there's not a good feedback loop from the people to the government, and if you have rule of the bureaucrat, if the bureaucracy is in charge, and then what meaning does democracy actually have? If the people cannot vote and have their will be decided by their elected representatives in the form of the president and the Senate and the House, then we don't live in a democracy, we live in a bureaucracy. So it's incredibly important that we close that feedback loop, we fix that feedback loop. The public's elected representatives, the president, the House, and the Senate, decide what happens, as opposed to a large unelected bureaucracy.
And right now, I only see one solution to this loop, this feedback loop that he's getting, where, these rogue agents, these bad actors, these corrupt judges are trying to get in the way, impede the process of what the folks, the nation voted for. We have to go ahead. Like I said, he's going to slam that ban hammer down, let these folks know on the left that, hey, you're not in charge. It is me that the folks voted in.
You can't have an autonomous federal bureaucracy. You have to have one that is responsive to the people. That's the whole point of a democracy. If you asked look at the founders today and said, what do you think of the way things have turned out? Well, we have this unelected, fourth unconstitutional branch of government, which is the bureaucracy, which has, in a lot of ways, currently more power than any elected representative. It does not match the will of the people. So it's just something we've got to fix. And then we've also got to address the deficit. So we've got a $2 trillion deficit. And if we don't do something about this deficit, the country's going bankrupt. It's really astounding that the interest payments alone on the national debt exceed the Defense Department budget, which is shocking. So we spend a lot of money on defense. So what I really want to say is, it's not optional for us to reduce the federal expenses. It's essential. It's essential for America to remain solvent as a country. And it's essential for America to have the resources necessary to provide things to its citizens and not simply be servicing vast amounts of debt.
Yo, there we have it, guys. That one coming from our friend Liberal Hive Mind. I'll definitely be sure to leave that original video link down in the description box below. For those who want to go over there, check that entire thing out. Also, you guys to go over there and show our friend Liberal Hive Mind tons of love and support. He's a great guy. Oh my goodness, guys. We're seeing yet another one of those activist judges coming after Donald Trump with the legal lawfare, essentially trying to be a hero. Well, I guess he's about to see exactly what being a hero gets you with this current administration, because I'm going to tell you right now, Trump's Attorney General Pam Bondi is not going to mess around with this. You got to think about it. This is what the nation, our country, We all spoke up. We voted for what we're seeing being, acted and played out right in front of us. But these folks on the left, especially these crazy Democrat officials, they think that they have the power to overrule the election. That is not how this goes. And I also want to add one more tidbit I seen floating around about this judge. I'm pretty sure that his wife was a grant recipient from USAID. If that tells you anything about him and his background, y'all, but definitely hop in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Excuse me. Also, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next one week.